Good morning. Good morning. Just give me a second, my loves. I'm going to send out my live. Hello, oh my goodness. Hello, love. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you, Snea. I miss you, friend. Ah, love you. I'm just sending out the sharing on Insta or TikTok. Sorry, I'm just doing the sharing on TikTok. Hello, chickadee. How are you? Hi, Angie. How are you? Oh, I think I forgot who I left off with. Oh, no. Oh, well, we might end up with some people that are getting more than one invite because I forgot. That's okay. That's okay. How are you doing today? How are you? I'm doing okay. I do have a bit of a situation that I'm dealing with, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And I'll be very honest about the situation. There, I did all the sharing. Yay! Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about that. Yay! Yay! Hi guys. So yeah, we're gonna have a fun show today. I have of course a lesson planned. But I was thinking maybe at the end of it we'll just do some cards. And I actually grabbed out the Lightseer Tarot. It's been a while since we've done cards. So that might be something to stick around for at the end of the show and check out the treat of getting some cards from me again. And I'm going to put on like an extra live or two in the next little bit. I finished the course that I was doing, which was the Bridge to Light phase 1. So this is where you're moving from your trauma into a space basically of sovereignty, right? Where you take the control back into your space and you're no longer being in the victim mindset where people are able to, really direct your life through your emotions, right? That ends up what's happened because we don't know how to regulate our own emotions. Hi, I love you too. I actually just love you. It's like, why are you saying I can't have that comment? There we go. I'm like trying to put the comment there because it did the blocking of it. So I've done so many changes this year, and in all of those changes, it has done one thing for me. It's put me more in alignment with absolutely who I am and what I'm doing, Divine Rising Love. It's definitely, I have not been more myself than I am in this moment at all. But oh, there's so much corruption and lies in the world. Like when you peel back the layers of just the way that we've been lied to and the information has been distorted, like the whole science is all funded in a specific direction so that we stay trapped in this way. So, there's a whole bunch of stuff we could get into with that, right? And you can cure yourself. It's not something, they don't want us using that word because unfortunately you can't make money off of cures, right? Once you cure somebody, they don't come back to you. But anything that causes you to be in a cycle of use with them where you can't get away from it, that is false light. that is anti-Christ technology or mentality, right? Because anything that is born from prime source, the source of all creation, that is going to be something that is going to promote your sovereignty. It's going to promote you to be independent. It's going to promote your health. It's going to promote your healing. Mainstream medicine isn't doing that, right? When you look at the way that life is, they get taught in school. I got taught the same thing. This is the problem. This is the medication for it. This is the problem. This is the surgery for it. This is the problem. This is the solution. But the solution was never a cure. It was never about a cure. We never looked at what was the root cause of what made you sick. Why is your blood pressure high? What is causing your blood pressure to be high, right? What is causing the dysfunction in your perfect system? Like, we have such a complicated but absolutely miraculous system that we have with the human body, especially when you get into the energetic layers of it and you don't just look at it as a physical meat suit, right? And most of our medicine was constructed for men, by men, for men. And, a lot of what we're living in within this distorted matrix of life, this is for entertainment purposes before I get banned on, or I get something shut down on TikTok or YouTube. This is just me, we're just having fun. We're just having fun. I'm just talking about some things, like I've dreamt before, or, I've had these like experiences before in my mind. So, it's some ramblings of some lady, right? Like, I don't know. We have to say it's for entertainment purposes, right? And that in and of itself is ridiculous. Like, one of the things that I have always stated very clearly with the people that I'm working with is that I'm not your savior. You're the savior. You're the one that heals yourself. I'm just going to give you the tools. Like, I'm going to explain things to you. I'm going to give you some instructions. I'm going to give you some practical tools. But if you don't implement those tools, it's just knowledge. It's like having a book that sits on a shelf, which I like to call them shelf helps, because they're just helping the shelf. They're not helping you because you didn't read them and implement it. So it's your sovereignty, right? I love you. It's your sovereignty. But then in this changes and all these changes that I've done, right? What it has done is it has made it difficult because my audience needs to change with the changes that I've made. So when I went from dealing with before, because on your healing journey, you go through the phases, right? You're peeling back the layer and you'll peel back the first layer and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to help heal the world. I'm going to heal all my family. I'm going to heal all my friends. I'm going to save people. I was able to do this, and you come at it and sometimes we come at it from an egoic way. Right. And not that what I was doing was wrong in any way, in the fact that I wanted to help people and I was out here giving and over giving at that. I know that I had so many of my friends asking me like I was over giving. There was at one point where for $22 a month, and you guys know this because some of you were a part of that, but for $22 a month, I literally sat with people 7 days a week. 6 days a week, 6 days a week. Not always 6 days a week, but always 5. And sometimes in that 5 days, on one day, there was two meetings in one day. So I was sitting with people. If you said that we sat for 2 hours each time, 12 hours a week for $22. And I remember at one point, not that long ago, some members that were a part of that group actually got at me about I wasn't doing enough, that I needed to have more structure and I needed to have this or that. And I was kind of taken aback by that because but it's $22 a month. Like, why do you think that you get to tell me that I need to do more or change things or whatever? Like, I would have thought you'd be just grateful for everything that I'm doing for you. Like, everything. Like, I can't even get over the things that I provided. Like, I did gene key analysis. I did deep dives into astrology for people. I looked at different ways to like activate them. We were doing meditations, or they were getting like basically free freaking like tarot readings all the time for $22 a month. And we're not grateful for that. they were not like happy that that's what they were getting. It wasn't. And so that was when I said, wow, I'm giving so much, but I'm giving to the wrong space, because if I'm giving to a space where people aren't appreciative of what they're receiving, then it's the wrong space. Right. And so, I've went through a lot of cleaning of people that I've been associating with. I changed all of my stuff. So now I'm not working with people in victim mode. I'm not working with people at that level. I'm working with people that are ready to ascend. I'm working with people that are ready to say, I want to claim my sovereignty. I know this is a matrix. I'm tired of I'm ready to live outside of that. I'm ready to claim my power and step into who I've always been. So I'm more about the ascension now, not dealing in the trauma space, in the victim space, right? Because that's just, it's an exhausting space to work in. It really is. And I've done it for years now. I went from nursing for 20 years into working with trauma and mental health for, the rest of that time, for the last 5 years. And then, was giving and giving and giving. So I've switched everything. But anyway, that's put me in a predicament, because in switching everything, one thing that it did was it drastically affected my finances. And yesterday, yesterday I received an eviction notice because I've been staying with my mom and I'm not actually allowed to stay here. So anyway, she gave me 2 weeks to find another place, and I don't have savings. I don't have that kind of stuff right now. So I'm actually like asking for donations, but I don't want actual donations. I just want people to buy my stuff, because I make really awesome things. I write amazing books. Like, look at this beautiful book. This is just one of the gorgeous books that I created that are actually connecting children to the light inside of them. Like, this is a book that all children should be reading. It has beautiful pictures in the book. It's well written. It's got practical things to do at the end of each chapter. There's an activity. It's just beautiful for children. There's four of these will be published. The fourth one gets published at the end of May on the 27th. Right. I have all kinds of different books that are, for children, for parents that are like new age parents, or parents that are, that are in touch with who they are, the truth of who we are and what we are, that have some spirituality, right? That understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, right? So I have a series of book called The Unlikely Heroines. This is a series that is written for my granddaughters and niece, or my granddaughter and nieces. I'm doing okay. I'm just, and for this, I also brought out, there are a couple of small things. So I have a thing called a soul note. So I will channel a message from your higher self, your oversoul, and your guide team. I'll channel a message for that and deliver it to you in a note. I have an oracle voice note, the oracle voice note, or the voice note oracle. Sorry, that one's where it goes into more depth. So you can ask me a particular question. You can ask me some questions and I will channel it and I will give you the answer, and I deliver it in a voice note. And then there's a guardian activation where you can sit down with me for half an hour and I will activate you in whatever way is aligned with your highest timeline, your, things like that. So I brought these out because I don't think that I just honestly I do not like asking for donations. I don't like asking. I was going to say I don't like asking for help, and that maybe there's something to that in a little bit of a way, but it's not. I mean, I've gotten help from my mom and I've gotten help from other people, but I think that because I know what I'm doing is very valuable to so many people, right? The soul note is $33 Canadian. The Oracle, the voice note Oracle one is 44, and then the Guardian session's 88. So to sit down with me for half an hour, right? It's not about that. It's just I've created all these beautiful things. I have beautiful courses. I do amazing one-to-one sessions. Like, you know, when I do a session with somebody, like for days afterwards, they're sending me messages about how much they love me and how much they're so appreciative of what I've done, and, you know, stuff like that, right? I don't know. My mom could talk, like my mom could maybe talk to her, maybe talk to her doctor. It's something we can discuss for sure. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to work out, though. That's the other thing. That's the other thing, is I just know it's going to work out. That's why I'm not like losing my mind and I'm not freaking out or anything like that, because I know that it's going to work out. Last night I went for a walk with my dog and I was, you know, like allowing myself to process, right? Yeah, you can ask me something. I tell everybody, this is what I say to everybody. You can ask me anything that you want to ask me. I just, after I read it, if it's something that, you know, because I have had people say, can I ask you something? And then they ask you something completely offensive. So then I just won't answer it. I promise. But you can ask anything. But I will be honest with you. That's the only way that I roll. It's just who I am. So these sessions, they are available on my website. I have a free group called the Temple of Light. I actually talked to my friend about this, and I was like, you know, I created these beautiful, amazing spaces, which have different purposes, but all these beautiful, amazing spaces, and I created them at really great different price points, right? So I have a free group and I put things in there all the time. Like this live that I do today, there's a journal that goes along with it. So if you go into the Temple of Light, you can get these journals. So you'll get 2 journals and activation stuff with it each week that coincide with the live that I do. So that's just in the free group. And that's also on Mondays, there's a celestial spark. On Thursdays, there's also, besides the fact that you get the journal in there on Thursdays, you also get a transmission on Thursday. And then on Saturdays, you get a reflection, right? There's the Ascension Gateway group, which if you love the shows that I do on my other channel, the Truth Will Set You Free, which is, it's linked in my profile, especially on YouTube, it's linked. But in the One Truth Sets You Free is what the channel is called. We are doing tea and tarot soon. We're definitely doing tea and tarot soon. Mwah, I love you. And the thing is, like I said, I don't want to ask for money. I don't want to beg for money. I don't want to ask for donations. I don't want to do that, because I do honestly believe people just need to buy my stuff. Absolutely. We could do a prayer circle. Prayer circles are beautiful. Aw, no, don't even say the word. You're healthy, healed, and whole. Healthy, healed, and whole. And you can always sign up for a session with me. I actually have had great success in that. I have actually, one of my testimonials is from a lady that I worked with who had a brain tumor. And she went back and her doctors were absolutely amazed because it was gone. So I love you. I love you. I'm so glad that you did come. Everything, you're healthy, healed, and whole. There was a question. Where did it go? Why do I feel this girl energy constantly? What girl energy? Can you be more specific about what the girl energy is? So yeah, it's not, I just would love people to buy my stuff, but I am in a serious situation. So I do, if anybody isn't in a way that it can't work with me, then I am definitely appreciating any donations that I can get at this time. Or if anybody in Ontario has an idea of a place where I can go and stay. So she could be thinking about you. Like once you've been in connection with somebody for a long period of time, or once you've had a friendship with somebody and you've shared experiences and stuff like that, then you're going to have an energetic attachment. There's energy that strings between you and her, keeping you guys connected. So you have to actually go, and you should be doing it on a regular basis. This is some of the stuff that I teach, right, in the Guardian training and in the Christic Mastery Circle and in the other groups that I have, or in the stuff that I do, in those situations, praying for you, my love. So in those situations, I lost my train of thought. We should be doing these spiritual practices on a daily basis, right? We should be calling our energy back to us. We should be assessing any cords that are attached. Hi, Jenny. We should be looking for any cords that are attached to things and people and experiences that are no longer aligned with us and clearing those. But we weren't taught that, right? We were taught distortions. We were taught things that keep us looping it keeps us seeking something outside of ourselves, whether we're seeking to fill ourselves, with food, with drugs, with alcohol, with people, with things, with like all the stuff that we're buying and consuming, right? So we don't want to be filling ourselves full of all of those. We want to recognize, like, what are we filling? What are we replacing on the inside, and get that sovereignty back? Yep. It could be because they're thinking about you, right? They could be thinking about you a lot. They could be reaching out to you. So sometimes when you're feeling something or thinking about somebody, it's because they are thinking about you, and it's tugging on that line. So then it's throwing up the memories or the experiences, or that person comes up again. This is the thing that I did. So my last relationship was quite toxic, and they were somebody that when they felt rejected in any way, shape, or form, it became like a big name fest, right? So they would just call me names and make me feel scared and whatever. So they had that in them, and I lost my train of thought because my mom came home. Anyway, after we broke up, there would be times like he'll pop into my head, right? He pops in my head, and I would just set it on fire. I would be like, no, we do not need to be thinking about that. So every time I would think about him, I would set him on fire. But it's transmutation, right? That's what we do. We transmutate the energy. So that energy that comes in, I was using fire to burn it and turn it into something that's more suitable for me, which was thinking about anything but him. And I would send the fire back to him in the sense of, if you are thinking about me, take it back. Right? Take it back. Don't you just stop. There's no connection here. There's no connection here for you. Do not come this way. Hi, Craig. How are you, love? And hi, Rejoice. How are you? I have to have some tea. My throat's and we're going to do our education, which means we're going to do some practical things. And then at the very end of the episode, because I don't have class today, we can do some cards. So you have to stick around and learn, and then you can get cards. But I think that you guys like learning from me anyway. Okay, so YouTube, TikTok. Well, you could do a cord cleansing. Trying to think where I know that on YouTube I have a cord cutting ceremony on YouTube. And we'll see what we do with today. You have to find it easy. If you find it hard, then you make it hard. And a lot of it's in our programming. Hi, Lindsay. A lot of it's in our programming, right? So words are spells, and we spell on ourselves all the time. And the way that you think about things or feel about things, and the way that society has conditioned us and programmed us, right? Through our TV, we're being programmed. In society, we're being conditioned. So through all of these things, we get taught so much. And I used to drive me, I would get a little bit annoyed. I would get frustrated. Frustrated is more the level of energy that it would get from me. When people would put that thought out there that you're never healed. You're always evolving, yes, but you can be healed. You can be 100% healed. And there is a future where we will be healed. There will be a future where we will not be living the way that we're living today, at least for those of us that are waking up and doing the work and clearing the traumas, right? And so sometimes we have to have the hard talks with ourselves. Why are we holding on to it? And how is it serving us to continue to hold on to it? And that can sometimes be a challenge for us, because we may not realize that we're secretly holding on to it because it's feeding us in some way. Sometimes we hold on to the trauma because we've identified with the story so much, so our ego's holding on to it. This is stuff we go over in the Bridge to Light program. And now the Bridge to Light program is a self-paced study. So there's 12 sessions in the Bridge to Light. There's meditations, there's a whole guide, there's student handouts, there's an entire journal that goes along with it. And I do a monthly check-in within that group. So even the self-paced study, you still get access to me once a month, where we sit down and I answer any of your questions that you have about the course content. The cool thing about that course is that it's on sale for this month until the 27th for $555, and then it's going back to $777. So it's $555 Canadian for until the 27th of May, like at the end, and then it goes back, like I said, to the regular price. But you do get that sit down session with me once a month where I answer any of your questions, and I can do like a personal guide through something. And then as the graduation, that is done with me there as well, as we do the final activation. So back on track. Our ego gets caught into it. Our ego literally is attached to who we've been and the stories that we've told ourselves. And sometimes our ego doesn't want to let go of it. There's a channel coming in. That's why I keep my crown's tingling. My crown's tingling, telling me, dee, dee, dee. So our ego gets attached to it. Our ego gets attached to who we are, in the sense of, we've always been that way. And sometimes it's just the energy that we've invested into it, right? Sometimes when we're in that toxic relationship and we stay in that toxic relationship, it sometimes gets, because the longer that you're in it, the harder it is to get out of it, because you get more ingrained with each other, right? Like 6 months into a relationship, you probably don't own property. You probably don't have your health plans together or your cell phones together. But 10 years in, you might have everything together. So moving away from that relationship takes a lot more. But it's not even just that about the ingrained, is you've got more buy-in, right? Like you've put more effort into this. So the longer that you're there and the more effort that you put in to make it work, the more that you have to concede to the fact that it didn't work. And it almost is that I failed and I gave all this effort and I tried so hard. So it puts more on the line for you to say egoically that you need to move on, right? So it's always better to make the decision earlier rather than later when it's not in alignment with us. But that's why we hold on to it often, is because our ego is saying to do that, right? That it can't let go of that. Like sometimes we get so tied up in our identity. Hi, Denise. How are you, love? It has been a long time. So when we get caught in the sense of, like our families, let's say our families have always suffered, and we say things like that, like, oh, my family has always suffered, or my family has always, we're always angry. We just we're known by these certain characteristics, right? So as we're saying that, that's just seeding that as a part of your characteristics over and over and over again, right? The more that we say the stuff in our life, right? And one of the things that I do is routinely call people out on language that they're using, right? So if they're using language like, like I'm always struggling, like if they're saying that, and cancel, clear, right? If they're saying that, I call them out on it, because the more that you say that, always is a concrete word, always makes a very, very much a frame around you, a limiting belief. It's a blockage. So you have to examine the language that you're using and what your belief is underneath that language that holds you to that. I love them. I've broke them. I need, you can see that I glued it here with some, what is it called? Crazy glue. I crazy glued it here because I dropped them and I cracked them. And, I could probably use replacing them, but I just ain't, I just ain't got the time. Just ain't got the time. So it's fine. They work. That's the important thing. All right. So let's look at what our session is today and just know that that is a part of it, right? A reason why we struggle is because our ego is holding on to who we used to be and the stories that we've told and the experiences that we've had. So it fights against us when we're on the healing journey. But when you understand that, then that can help you. And sometimes you have to actually look at like I said, the language that you're using and the thoughts that you have about your life and your healing journey, because that's just going to create the framework that you're going to live within. So it creates the box for you. So we're going to stay on a little bit longer today. I was saying that at the end, after I'm done with what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to do some tarot cards. It's been a while. We totally changed the stuff that we're doing in our lives. I used to come on and I used to just dole out tarot cards and advice and, like help direct everybody. And then, we do some healing and I do some light language and, stuff like that. But now I've started doing it where I'm doing an actual education session. So we're actually flowing through. Just wait.
Okay. I'm the bottom.
Huh?
I wanted to get them out.
Oh, okay, fine. I'm just sorry. I just might as well swap it then on that side. My mom's grabbing some water out of the window. I was thinking that would be the better side, right? The education.
Sorry,
so
folks.
Now we do them more as an education. There's activations within it. Every time we're doing our breath work, it's important, right? Like, not that, even though I'm handling everything well with the eviction notice, even though I'm handling that well, there's moments where, you want to cry, because your root is like your stability, your home, your housing is stability, right? It's security and stability. So when that foundation gets rocked, I know that my root chakra is going to be disrupted. So I have to do things. So some of the stuff that's important to remember whenever you're dealing with something that creates somewhat of a crisis situation in your life or creates an emergency situation or anything like that, you want to go to your breath work, right? You want to also validate it, right? Understand that it's understandable that if some emergency happened, that you're going to feel something, that you're going to feel a certain way. But then you make sense of that feeling and you go and you process and move through it, right? So last night when I was doing my walk, I was doing breath work and I was talking and processing it. And because I thought I would, as I went for my walk, I was just going to let it go. I was going to let myself cry if I wanted to, let it process through everything. And, I let a little bit out and then I started talking. And at one point I was like, I know that I'm always taken care of. I know that God is always looking out for me. And right at that moment, I had a June bug buzz right into my ear as like a confirmation of absolutely. Why do I say that is a confirmation? Well, one, that's the first June bug I've heard this year. And two, it's not June yet. I mean, it's early. It's still, it's a little early for June bugs, although they do appear before June. They're not just, you only see them in June, but they are definitely from that. Hence why we call them June bugs. And also to have it right in my ear. And I first thought it might've been a bumblebee, but I realized later on that it was a June bug. So, it was a confirmation for that. So today what we're going to talk about is the light of the mother flame, reclaiming sacred nurture and the return of original care. So the world is not starved for more doing. It's actually longing for sacred nurture. This is soft yet powerful transmission. We awaken the original mother flame within you, the source of replenishment, of divine gentleness, and unshakable inner holding, right? So we'll be guided to restore the true current of care, not through exhaustion or sacrifice, right? But through remembrance, breath, and presence, which is powerful. Carol's awesome. Did you know hello? Hello, D. Denise. It's always weird when I see the D. I wanted to say stop at D, but Denise. Hello. So we've got in this episode, so we're going to do a mother breath practice for nervous system and emotional field regulation. We're going to do an embodiment ritual, cradling the inner child and opening the heart womb flame. We are going to do our core teaching on martyrdom, on boundaries and sacred protection. We're going to do our invocation of the mother and anchoring of inner nourishment. And then we're going to do a little bit extra stuff. Love you. Here Tuesdays and Thursdays, although I am going to be doing a couple extra lives in the next little bit, just when I feel when I feel the draw to do so, I'll be doing those. So yeah. So there's the bonus, there's the Mother Flame journal at the in the Temple of Light that goes along with this particular session. So just, it's a free group. So you can go and join that group and download the guide to go with this. And if you want to watch this episode, it's always on my YouTube channel, because I broadcast both to, that's why I keep looking up there as well, because my TikTok channel is up here. Sorry, my YouTube channel is up there. So just, like I said, go to the YouTube channel and you can watch the recording there at any point in time. This also is a great session that will make you, like, because there's the group that I have called Still Waters. And this is a beautiful, soft space, which is really a divine feminine space. It's a gentle space for those that are on their healing journey, with lots of sacred transmissions and stuff like that. So it's beautiful. All right. So today we enter the heart of divine gentleness, the frequency of the Mother Flame. This is not the conditioned caregiver that we were taught, right? Me too. This is not that conditioned caregiver that we were taught to perform, but the original current of sacred nurture that flows from Source itself. Okay, so this is different. In a world that often praises productivity over presence and hustle over holding, the nurturing force has been distorted. It's been buried between roles, between guilt, between burnout, and self-abandonment. Think about all of the distortions that we have around motherhood or nurturing or softness or compassion in the world these days, right? Like, think about the conditioning of that, of where they have tried to really destroy the feminine, right? Destroy the feminine through religion, through the patriarchy, through all things. And even feminism further destroys the feminine, because it's just another distortion, right? It's just a partial distortion. But it still destroys the feminine, because the feminine is not meant to be the masculine. The feminine is meant to be the feminine, and the masculine is meant to be the masculine. And everybody has feminine and masculine within us. We're just somewhere within the spectrum of it, right? That's where the whole gender thing got it wrong, where they have created all these different, flavors, like it's a Baskin Robbins or something. There's all these different flavors. What it needed to remain is that you are born genetically as a male or female, but you sit on a spectrum of it, and how you show up on the spectrum is absolutely fine. It's fine. You could be a very feminine male, or you could be a very masculine woman, and neither one would be wrong. You just show up as you, inherently as you, and you meet your counterpart. But then you would learn things about, like, the divine feminine and how the feminine energy really is, or the divine masculine and how the divine masculine really is. And you would learn about sacred union and not this distorted, stuff that we have going on in the world today. So all of these things that we're programmed, we need to deprogram ourselves. And that's a lot of the healing journey, is deprogramming yourself. And it's also just clearing the energy that you've stored from the traumas that you've experienced from your field, right? So clearing out those energies that you're still holding on to. So the Mother Flame, it lives, right? This is a quiet strength beneath your breath. This is the golden warmth that softens fear. It's the knowing that you're worthy, not because of what you give, but just of who you are. You are always enough. You are always worthy. You've never been a mistake. You've never been not good enough. You've never been not worthy, right? These are not anything that we inherit from Prime Source or from Mother Gaia, or, from the healthy way that we're supposed to be. These are all distortions that we've inherited through, this world that we're in, for the sole purpose of trapping us and stealing our energy. Those are the facts, right? So today we remember not just her, like, we don't just remember the Mother Flame. We're going to not just remember her, not as the outer mother, but as the eternal process within, right? So we all carry this Mother Flame within us. And that's my signal to pause for a minute, because we're going to do some breathing. And I'm going to pause for a minute and take a sip of my tea that's getting cold. Luckily enough, I have a hot one in a hot mug right behind it. All right. So we're going to take our hands in our breathing practice. We're going to put one on our heart and one on our lower belly, so our sacral chakra, below our belly button. So in the heart and the sacral. The sacral chakra used to be the space where the divine feminine energy sat. The divine feminine, through the ascension, we're sitting at the heart chakra. Just like the divine masculine used to be the root, it used to be security, it used to be in that space. But now the masculine energy is in the solar plexus chakra. Now, if you take divine masculine energy in the solar plexus chakra, that is going to be an ego center that is directed through the heart space, because the divine masculine is in touch with his divine feminine. So he knows that the divine feminine is connected in the heart. When we are in the toxic masculinity, we're not connecting to the heart. So we're just in the ego and we're just doing things for the egoic reasons of either money, fame, fortune, vanity reasons, stuff like that. It's okay. You're okay. Okay. Back to the breath work. So we're going to put one on our heart, one on our lower belly. So we're connecting our two feminine centers. Oh my goodness. That thing is the cutest. Sorry for you guys on YouTube. I apologize, but that was just like the cutest little gift I've They're the gifts that they give on TikToks. Oh my God. Sometimes the animations are just something else. That was super cute. Oh my goodness. All right. See if I can keep. I love you too, sweetheart. I love you very, very, very much. And I'm so happy that you've been a part of my journey for so long. And yes, any assistance that that you've given me over the years, and there's been plenty, like, trust me, you are somebody that has absolutely helped me on my journey of bringing this company, bringing this to life. Like, you've been a huge part of that. All right, hands, heart and sacral. All right. Now we're going to breathe in through the nose. We're going to exhale through the mouth. But as we exhale through the mouth, we're going to ah. Okay. And it's just a soft ah. We're not ah. We're just doing ah. Okay. And as we're inhaling, I receive. As we exhale, I allow. So that's the pattern. In, I receive. Out, I allow, with an ah. Okay. So let's start this. Hands on your heart and your sacral chakra, so your lower belly, or your hara if you're a man. And we're just going to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Remember, with the in, we're going, I receive. Out, I allow. When you do that, you can feel the vibration in your heart, right? Keep doing again. Inside, I receive. Exhale, I allow. We're going to keep doing that, inhaling like that. But I'm going to add another visualization that you're going to visualize a rose gold flame lighting in your heart. And it's just going to keep growing and expanding as we continue breathing like this. So inhale, I receive. Exhale, I allow. As you're doing this, that flame is growing. Inhale. Exhale. See that rose gold flame in your chest, into your spine, into your belly, up into your head. See it just growing through your entire body, engulfing you in this beautiful rose gold mother flame. I receive, and then exhale, I allow. Okay, come back into this moment, and we're just going to say, I am safe to soften. The mother holds me as I hold myself. It is safe to be gentle. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the mother care. Okay. Let's talk about the mother care. And do comment and like the live. And if you're not following me, do follow me so you can keep hanging out with me when I do my lives. I do routinely go live Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's by 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm live on YouTube and TikTok on both channels. And then there's the occasional surprise live that I'll be doing. And I'm going to be doing one soon, which is just going to be a tarot and tea live at some point. But we're going to do some tarot at the end of this episode too. So if you want some tarot cards, just stick around and we'll do a little bit of that at the end of the episode. All right. So what we forgot about true care, let's talk about that, because true care is not martyrdom, right? It is not self-sacrifice. It is not giving while you're empty, and it's definitely not abandoning yourself to serve others. That is not what true care is. Right. But that's what we've been raised to believe. Like we're supposed, like the mom comes last, right? That we should be sacrificing ourselves for other people, that we should serve until we're like exhausted and burnt out, and just give and give and give some more, and give and give and give a little bit more. Right. But the original current of care is a sacred flame. It's pure, it's self-generating, it's boundaried, and it's alive with intelligence. When we lost this remembrance, care became performance. Like what is a transactional thing? Love became a labor, and giving became a currency for approval, right? So it became that very transactional, like I'm doing this so that you keep loving me, and because I have fear of abandonment or rejection, right? So we get into that loop, grand rising love. We forget the true care. We forget the truth of care when we were taught that being needed equaled worthy, right? So how many of us do that? Because you need me, I have worth. I know when I was in some of my relationships, it was literally, I am loved because I have a partner, not because I was feeling loved by my partner, but because I had a partner, that meant I was lovable. It was because I didn't feel lovable. Right. So if I didn't have a partner, that was obvious. I wasn't lovable. I didn't even have a partner. Just, there was my proof, right? Like in my trauma mind, we were rewarded for self-abandonment, right? How many times, and we were also punished for rest, right? How many times do you get rewarded, right? When you think about, like I use the Digimon Pokemon because I know they came out around the same time. I had kids, I have kids that were born in the 90s. So, when we look at that, if you went to school loving Digimon and just, thinking that they were amazing, but at school, Digimon was thought to be something that losers did. And, like, don't you know that Pokemon are cool, right? How many times when you decided, okay, I'm not going to like that thing because nobody else likes it, that you suddenly get rewarded because you get included into the group, right? So then it's like that abandoning your self-interests got you acceptance. It got you acceptance into the wrong group. It got you acceptance into a group that only accepts you as the fake you, as opposed to, standing in your space. But I mean, that's the way that we are as children, right? We get punished for rest, right? How many times if you were to tell somebody, what are you doing? And you're like, nothing, they would assume that you're lazy or unmotivated, or, like there's this whole culture of hustle and grind and go and do. And hello, my love. It's been a while since I've seen you on my live, but delighted to have you here. You must have came because at the end of this episode, we're going to do some cards. And she's like, I didn't even stay. Just went on by. Just kidding. We saw caregiving modeled through burnout, through silence, or through guilt, right? We see think about how distorted our moms, or the energy that we saw, or the way that we saw parenting through our parents, right? Hi, Crystal. We believe that softness equates to weakness, right? We were taught about that us women are us women are the weaker, and we're not. We're different. And I mean, if you only consider strength by physicality, right? Well, then I guess men are stronger than women physically. Okay, good for you. Hoorah. Right? That's such a small thing in the whole grand scheme of life and everything that's important. Strength is like not even the top quality that I would consider in humanity. So the mother flame does not burn out. It replenishes your energy. It moves from alignment, not from obligation, and it honors cycles, right? It doesn't just go and serve. It recognizes that there's going to be times when you're going to be doing more, and there's going to be times when you're going to rest more, because you need to do everything in equal measures. It's a structure and flow. It's stop and go. It's not go, right? It's not do. We were human beings for a reason, because there's a part of us that just needs to be and not actually do anything. And we weren't created. This is the thing. We were not created by prime source to incarnate into these physical bodies, to come down here and work and hustle and grind to make money, to buy more stuff. That's not the purpose of our existence. That's not the purpose of this divine being that you are. Right? But that's what we're conditioned into believing, is that we need to do that. So rest has become this like dirty thing almost, right? You're not good unless you're like hustling, grinding, right? And it's ridiculous. So we need to just reclaim that. We need to reclaim the sacred essence of nurturing, is to reopen your body to warmth without cost. There's no transactions here, right? Trust your capacity to receive as much as to give. So many of us were just give. And you're like, well, I don't know why I'm not receiving anything. And it's like, because you never put yourself in a position to receive. You're in the giving position. You're in the current of giving, right? You didn't step yourself into the current of receiving. You think you've been raised and conditioned to believe that you have to give, and that the way to receive is through giving. That is a transaction, right? But it's not a transaction. You can receive without giving. It's a part of your natural state. You can, when you're in the true essence of nurturing, you create safety in your own presence. It's not anything conditioned outside of you. You feel safe within who you are, within where you are, within who you are. And you release the martyr, right? And rewrite that what care really truly means, right? When this flame is alive within you, you protect your boundaries with compassion. I can't speak right now. You protect your boundaries with compassion, right? It's not about being an asshole about your boundaries. It's literally about saying like, no, but this is my boundary and it's not changing, right? And I can understand how, especially if you're changing, right? Like, let's say you've been a pushover your whole life and you're now putting boundaries in. I find that what ends up happening, and this is a two-part thing. What ends up happening, one thing that happens is that in order for us to assert our boundaries, sometimes we go way over, right? So we get into like where we have to be frustrated or angry to say something, is that kind of mentality. So sometimes our boundaries, we're applying them and we're applying them with such a because we have to get into that energy to be able to do it. There's also the fact of that if we haven't been putting in boundaries, that when we start to put in boundaries, it's so not our normal that the people around us think that this change in you, it looks like it's aggression. So rather than being an assertive tone, they hear it as aggressive because it's so out of your normal way that you used to be, right? Us people pleasers, our language is very passive aggressive or passive, right? So then when you go into being assertive, that just sounds aggressive to someone who's heard you being passive for a long time, right? So the only people that exactly are the people that benefit from that. Your boundaries are there to show you who is in a relationship with you for the right reasons, right? Your boundaries clear the wrong people out of your life, because if somebody doesn't respect your boundaries, they don't respect you. It's as simple as that. If I don't respect your boundaries, it's because I inherently don't respect you in that space at the very least. So with when we have our mother flame activated within us, we protect our boundaries with compassion, right? We nourish others without depletion. We're not pouring from our cup. We pour from the overflow of our cup, right? We don't feel like we have to give and give and give and give and give until we can give nothing more. We pause, we refill our cup, and we're like, yeah, no. And we really push people towards sovereignty, right? We're not enabling people to stay weak and to stay needy and to stay in needing your services, right? That's false light stuff. We are like, no, you can do yourself. I'm going to teach you how to fish so you can feed yourself mentality, not I'm going to keep fishing for you. That's what the government wants. The government, and entertainment purposes only, they want us to be like that. They want us to be where we are waiting for our handout from them because it disempowers us. And we don't want to do that. You want to be teaching your kids, like teach your kid to do their laundry so that your child, when they move out of your house, know how to do your laundry. Teach your child how to cook so when they move out of your house, your child can cook. Teach your child how to manage finances so when they move out on their own, they know how to manage their finances, right? We need to teach our children to be adults and to be healthy adults. And we do that through demonstrating what a healthy adult looks like. And that's not by overgiving and not by putting them first. It's about putting you first so that they grow up to be adults that also put themselves first, but in a healthy way, not in a I'm an asshole and I'm so self-centered, but in a sense of I'm going to be giving and loving, but from the space where I have energy to be giving and loving, not just I'm going to be giving and loving because I owe something or because my worth is attached to that or because I have to feel needed in order to feel like my value exists, right? So the true caring goes through that, right? And it allows you to be soft without collapsing, and it allows you to rest without guilt, right? And this is what we need. The world needs more nurturers who are nourished, more care that originates from fullness, and more love that says, I'm here for you because I have first been here for me, right? Imagine how much, like, I could cry thinking about how it would have been to be raised by a mom who honored herself, who honored her energy, who loved herself and served from a full cup, not from some, owing or needing. Like my mom, definitely, she had savior, martyrdom. Like that was a big part of who she is, a people pleaser extraordinaire, really tied up in, in codependency and stuff like that. And, doing everything for everybody else. It's a constant give. And I give more and I give to this person and that person and this person and that person. And it's like, because I know at the end of that day, my mom's like, when they say thank you, or when, when they need me, or they value me, or, like, and I know that there's that at the end of it. It's not coming from the space of, I have rested, I have recovered, I have recouped, and hey, I just feel this desire right now to bake a cake for my friends, and I'm just going to make a cake and take it to my friends. It's, and she does have those moments where she's like, but there, I'm sure there's fueled by other things, right? But we need those people that aren't coming from that space, right? It's to come from that space of, I am full, I am healthy, I am whole, and I'm going to serve from that space to you, and not giving while you're empty. So the original current of care is a sacred flame. It's intelligent, responsive, and replenishing love. We forget this, like I said, when we're taught that being needed equals being worthy, when we get praised for overgiving, but shamed for needing support, when we saw nurturing modeled through exhaustion or control, and when we learned to abandon ourselves to stay connected. And how many times did we do that? Right. I just think of the times when, and Jordan Peterson talked about this, or no, Gabor Mate actually talked about this, and about how when a child gets angry and you send the child away and tell them to go to your room until you can behave, you're teaching the child that their anger is not acceptable, and that in order for them to be accepted, they have to disregard the emotions that they're feeling. They can't express those emotions because those emotions are wrong and making them wrong, hence why they have been shunned from the collective. Right? You get pushed out of acceptance because the way that you're feeling is considered unacceptable. Right. So you become unacceptable because of the emotions that you're feeling. So then you don't feel okay about that. You're shamed for needing support instead of being taught how to manage your emotions or how to handle your anger, and that your anger is okay. The reaction may not be, and here's how to react in a healthier way. We didn't do that or we didn't learn that demonstrated from our parents. So we have to teach ourselves that. And we maybe didn't teach our children that. So now we have to teach our children as adults, or have our children learn it themselves, right? So the mother flame is clear, it's replenishing, it is boundaried. It says, I love without depletion, I give from overflow, and I offer from alignment, right? It's powerful. Powerful. So to reclaim this, you have to heal the heart and restore the inner will. And when you embody this flame, you trust your yes and no. You parent yourself without harshness. You give without draining. And you receive without guilt. How powerful is that? The mother flame is not fragile. It is the most ancient strength in existence. Right? So we need to look at how we classify what we classify as strength. Okay, so we're going to do another practical session. I'm going to just take a sip of my tea because I think this might be the last sip of this cup before it's just... It was technically mouth temperature. So I was right at the edge of like, there's just no use drinking it anymore. It's not iced tea, but it's not hot tea. It's the tea. Just going to change and get my other cup and open the lid because this tea is very hot tea. This is, oh my God, burn your mouth tea. So those are their levels of tea. There's too hot, can't drink it tea, perfect temperature of tea. Then there's the tea, and then there's the iced tea. That little range in there where it's just we don't need that. Okay, so the activity or the exercise that we're going to do right now is called cradling the inner child. Okay, so this one here, we're going to use our hands again, but we're going to use our hands differently. I'm just going to try to... I feel like you're invading my space some more, friend. I love you. I feel like he gets closer to me every time, or this stuff moves back, something happens. All right, but this time we're going to take our hands and we're going to put them on our arms. Okay, so one of the techniques that I teach people is this one here about rubbing your arms in a downward fashion. And when you rub your arms in a downward fashion, it drops your brain into delta waves, which simulates the feelings that you would have received when you were being comforted by your parent, right? So it brings, and it's because it actually works on your brain waves. It's very soothing. So we're going to rub our arms, and you don't have to rub like this. If you don't feel like it, you can just hold your arms, and we're just going to rock. Okay. So in this sense, we're just holding, think of your little inner child right here, and that you're just rocking your inner child, and you're just breathing into your heart space. Okay. It's nothing, we're not doing any 10 seconds in or any, holds in between. We're just breathing into our heart space. We're just holding our little inner child, and we're just soothing and rocking. And like I said, you can rub your arm in a downward fashion too if you want to. You don't have to. You can just sway back and forth, gently rocking yourself. Breathing. And as we cradle our little inner child in our heart space, we're going to speak aloud. I no longer abandon myself. Just sit with that, breathe with that. I give myself what I always needed. That's a good one. And the mother flame lives in me. Now I want you to see that mother flame in you. Okay. But we're going to take our hands now, and we're going to put them back over our heart and our womb, or our hara, the lower tummy, down on our sacral. Okay. And we're going to visualize that rose gold light spiraling up our spine. Okay. And we're just going to hold ourselves while we sit in this beautiful mother flame. Just continue breathing into your heart. And if you're doing this and you feel emotion arise, just allow it to flow. If you feel like crying, just allow those tears to cleanse. It's all transmutation. You're just moving the energy inside your body, washing it away with your tears. If it feels like it's too much or overwhelming, you can always go back to holding yourself and rocking gently side to side. Your inner child is nestled right in your heart. You're holding, caring for. You're the frame, you're the parent, you're the mother, the father, you're the safe space that you've always wanted. It's in you now. You've never abandoned yourself. You've always been you, always carried you into the next moment and into the next life, into the next experience. You may have abandoned your emotions. You may have abandoned your authenticity. You may have abandoned connection in different spaces. But you've never abandoned yourself. You can't. You are you. You are you, and it is with you in every moment of your life. It's the one thing you can't run from is yourself, because everywhere you go, there you are. It's time to not abandon the other pieces of yourself. It's time to acknowledge your emotions, to validate them. It's time to do the things that are aligned with you, to make the decisions that are right for you, regardless of what anyone else thinks about them. We're just letting ourselves, right in this moment, just be held by ourselves, right? Just holding yourself. And if you feel like it, you could hum, or you could sing yourself a lullaby, right? And like I said, you can also go back to holding yourself on your arms and rocking gently while visualizing that beautiful flame connecting to the mother within you. Okay. You can come back. We're going to talk about some of the questions, the normal, like the big questions and their answers that I have for some of the stuff that we've been talking about today. And then we have another little thing at the end of it before we head off into some tarot cards today. I was going to say head off for the day, but then I remembered I'm going to do some tarot at the end. It's a good thing I remembered. Just get into a pattern and just run away. That's automatic thinking. Yep, that's the really hot coffee. That is the really hot coffee. Okay, so let's talk about some of these questions that I get asked in this topic or on this topic. Okay, so how do I know if I've lost connection to my nurturing core? One, or the answer to that is you may be feeling hard, dry, numb, overextended, or resentful. The body feels brittle, not soft. Your energy feels externalized, and that means it's time to return inward, to turn inward. That's oftentimes what our illnesses are. Like we'll get a cold or we'll get something that, lays us up for a week. It's because we need to go internal. We're not listening to the cues that we have within our body to rest, or we're not looking at the way that we're supposed to move through our lives as this movement of rest and, renewal and doing activities. Like it's not always about taking action. Rest is a significant part of the journey that we're meant to have. So taking those, it can be just a signal from your body, it's time to rest. And so we get sick so that it shuts us down because we wouldn't listen when we heard the earlier cues. We just kept powering through. So what if I was never shown true care? And that a lot of us we experienced in our traumas, right? We did not experience the proper care that we should have experienced. And you're here to remember from within. You have all the knowledge and information within you. Your DNA literally stores information. In your energetic body, you have the ability to access all kinds of information. The Akashic records, the celestial archives. It's written, your whole knowledge of you and all the lifetimes and experiences that you've had is contained within your body. You just have to reconnect, like it's contained within your energy. It's in your soul, right? So you can connect to that, but you're here to remember from within. The path is going within, and the mother flame is an eternal flame. It cannot be erased. It can only be forgotten. So it's just a matter of remembering. And we talk about that all the time. Like the healing journey or the ascension journey is just the journey of remembrance, right? It's learning to remember more of your truth. And that's why I have One Truth Sets You Free channel, and also this channel here, is because I am huge about purveying the truth and about sharing the truth out there, and the truth without dogma, the truth without division, or the truth without polarity. It's just the truth. And you can go to the other channel that I have. All of my social links are on my website, which is the same as this channel, Anshara'El.com. And so you can go there and check that stuff out. But you will find her again when you begin to hold yourself, right? So when you start to be nurturing and compassionate with yourself, that's when the mother energy, the true mother energy returns to you, right? When it's no longer transactional. It's no longer, go, do. There's that actual allowing yourself the ability to flow and to rest and to do so without guilt or blame. So is it selfish to rest or prioritize myself? I think we've answered that thoroughly through this session, that it's not. And I think that my content has definitely stressed that throughout the years. But just to reiterate, no, it's not. Sacred nurture flows from fullness, and there is no light in burnout, right? When we burn out, our light's out. I've done that. And usually when you burn out, it can take about 2 years before you actually heal from that and recover systemically from it. It takes that long to rebuild your nervous system and restore the energy depletion back into your body. So, it's important to stop it before you hit a full collapse, right? And you can get very sick in the process of it as well. So when you rest, all you touch is more nourishment. That's all you get is more nourished when you rest. I took Sunday completely off, like this Mother's Day. I didn't do anything with my family. I spent the day by myself until my mom came home later that day. But I spent the time by myself, and I didn't go online. I painted and I rested and I meditated, and it felt absolutely fantastic. And to do so without guilt, without feeling like I should be producing something or I should be productive or I should be doing any of that stuff. I just allowed myself to rest. So what does the mother flame feel like? It's warm, it's soft, it's clear, it's strong. It's not performative. This isn't about, getting anything from it. You just are. You just merely become and just be what you are. It's not, I'm doing this as, like, it's like the person that, puts on a big, huge birthday party for their child. And it's all to make their friends look at all these things that I'm doing. And it becomes very, it's not performative like that. That's not, it's just presence. It's just being present. It melts shame. It heals silence. It heals with silence, and it knows when to hold and when to release. It's not overbearing. It's not the helicopter mom that's involved in everything and, constantly don't do this and don't do that. We know that our children need, under supervision, the opportunity to make mistakes so that they can be corrected when they make those mistakes. And so when they go out in the world, they've learned and have grown from those. If we spare a child from making any mistakes at all because we guard them so closely and we watch them so fiercely, then our child has no idea what to do if anything goes wrong. And they haven't learned, and they might even not even realize they can come to you in those moments because they've not had the opportunity to do that, right? Then we make children that are very up for a very hard life because they haven't been taught how to be adults before they became how to be a healthy adult, right? So how do I nurture myself or nurture others without draining myself? And that's by staying anchored in your body, by asking before giving. Do I have the energy? Is this aligned with me to give? Right. And if you know what your alignment is and you feel your body come into alignment, and for me, it's sitting upright, with a nice upright spine, that's aligned for me. So if I ask myself, is it in alignment with me energetically to give at this time? And my body goes into this space, then I know it is. Once you get really good at, connecting with your body and how your energy feels when you're in good energy versus when you need to start to rest. Once you really recognize that, then you're going to be able to easily say, yes, I can give now, or I have the energy to give now, or no, I can't give now because I'm feeling very drained, right? You'll just know that. But by letting no be an act of love as well, sometimes saying no is the best thing that you can do, not just for you, but for other people. Again, the enabling concept, right? Sometimes they need to learn through different means. And if you're always saving somebody, which is not your job to save anybody, but if you're always doing that, then the person never learns to save themselves. When you pour from overflow, everyone receives. You're not giving from your supply of energy so that you're feeling depleted to fill them up. You're already full, and the energy is just overflowing from you. And as you give, you're going to feel more energetic giving in that space. So can the mother flame support healing the physical body? Yes. When nurturance returns, the nervous system stabilizes, the immune system strengthens, and cellular repair is activated. So sacred care is a powerful medicine, right? When we cleanse the things that are, distortions within our field, it doesn't matter what those distortions are. The dis-ease that we end up in is based on the distortions and stuff that we've carried with us. The inflammation that occurs from holding on to all of those energetic woundings that we suffered when we were children, as an example. Okay. So it strengthens, it sacred. When we step into that, we start to heal. So what are daily ways I can stay connected to this flame? One is gentle touch. The next is warmth, beauty, softness, breath. Speak to yourself with reverence. Bless your water. Rest when you're tired. And light a candle and remember that you are held. These are just simple ways that you can do that. Okay. I'm going to take a little sip of my tea. We have an invocation to do at the end of this episode. We have our invocation, and I'll talk about the some of the journal prompts, and then we're going to go into some tarot cards for fun. We're not going to do a long episode of tarot cards because at some point or maybe I'll take a little break before I jump into tarot cards just to run to the ladies' room, but. We'll see. I'm probably just going to, give maybe till 1:00. So maybe a half an hour of tarot cards, because probably that's what we'll do. We'll do till 1. Okay. All right. So in this invocation that we're going to do, you're just sitting in stillness and you're going to visualize that soft golden rose flame in the center of your heart glowing. Okay. And as you're sitting there, you're breathing in, and with every breath in, just see that grow a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger until you're engulfed in this rose gold flame. So it's getting taller, it's getting wider with each breath in. Once it's expanded through your entire body, you're going to speak aloud. I call forth the light of the mother flame. I restore sacred nurturing in my body, my breath, and my field. I give and receive in balance. I soften into strength. So just breathe and let that invocation settle. Let the body feel safe again. Beautiful. Okay. Now you can come back to the present moment and allow that invocation to settle into your field energetically. I'll just switch position a little bit. So the journal prompts that we have today are: where have I overgiven out of guilt or fear? What does sacred care feel like in my body? How can I offer myself gentleness today? And what does the mother within me wish to say? So you can access the Mother Flame journal page at the Temple of Light, which is the free group. It's absolutely free. I do not spam you with with emails. You do get emails when there's posts in the group, but you can go into your own settings. Like when you sign up on my webpage, you can go into your settings and change or determine how much you want to be or want to receive those things. So you can turn it off so you're not receiving a message each time there's a new post in the group. So there's that as well. And it's not associated with TikTok or YouTube or anything. It's off my website. There's also a web app that you can use with it, because the Wix webpage host, they also have a little app called Spaces for Wix. So you can also access the group through that thing. But I don't have anything to do with the Spaces app. It's just my stuff is on it. So if there's any issues with the actual app, that's something they have to help you with. But definitely, if you have any issue with the app, ask me about it. And if it's something I can manage or fix, then I will. But if it's not, then it's something that has to just go to them, just as an option. So I want you to offer one act of care that you can do for yourself, just yourself today. Okay, so you have to take one act of self-care today, just for you. And then within the group or in the YouTube or whatever, just I want you to comment, share your remembrance with the circle. Your softness is sacred, and I'd love to hear what you guys came up with with what you did for your one act of care. So the world is not starving for more hustle. It's not. It's not. It's actually yearning for the return of sacred nurturing, and that begins with you. You are the mother flame. Every single one of you, whether you're female or male, you are the mother flame, and it is yearning for the return of sacred nurture, right? You are the warmth, you are the restoration. So it starts with you. It's from you. So in the mother journal, I'll tell you the journal prompts that are in the journal page that's there is where have I mistaken overgiving for love? What does sacred replenishing care feel like in my body? What part of me is asking to be held, not fixed? What would it look like to mother myself gently this week, sorry? And what boundaries help me stay connected to my softness? There's also a mantra, there's a sacred nurturing ritual, a creative space prompt, and then there's sealing it with reverence. So that's all within the journal that I create for this episode, and that's available at the Temple of Light. So that's available for you there. Yes. So just to clarify, just to the other part of it. So to support my mission, I asked, and then we're going to go into cards, but I have been asking for donations or for people to take advantage of these special offers that I'm having for right now. I have received an eviction, so am in a situation where I do need to find alternative housing, and I do not have, like, at this time, I need help. I need help. But I would rather give you something in exchange for it. But if you're not in a position to work with me or, buy any of my products or services, then, I do have a link for donations, and anything helps at all. But to support my mission during this emergency housing transition, I am offering these powerful services by donation. So a soul letter is a written channeled message from your soul and guides delivered via email for $33. The voice note oracle is a 15-minute Akashic transmission via audio recording for one question or focus. So it's up to 15 minutes. It depends on what the question is and what I channel through from the Akashic records, but it will be in depth. For sure. And then there's the Guardian, and that's $44 Canadian, delivered within 48 hours. And then the Guardian activation call, and this would be a live 30-minute session with me. I don't have any half-hour sessions available in my bookings right now, so this is the only one that's offered as a half an hour. But it would be booked differently. You would just connect with me if that's something that's of interest to you. You can connect with me through email or messaging, and I will send you the link to book it. And for the donations, it's just through my PayPal. I have a donation link there. But that's it for the episode. I'm going to pause for a quick little moment and run to the little girl's room, or the woman's room, the mother flame room. I'm going to run to the bathroom, and I'll be right back. And then we're going to do the cards. Okay. So call your friends who, all the people that like to get the tarot cards and all of that stuff, and get them to show up, and I'll be right back. Okay. I also have to move my leg because it's sleepy. So I just try not to fall down. It's a fun walk. Whoopee. Hello, hello, hello. Alrighty, who wants cards? Who wants cards? It's been so long, guys. It's been so long. I haven't even been touching them myself. That's the other part. Like, I haven't been giving myself doing readings for anybody, and so it's been a bit of a break. It's been a bit of a break. Come on, guys. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. How did you enjoy the Bridge to Light course, Tammy? How did you find that? Because Tammy was somebody that took my Bridge to Light course, the new one that I just created. Unless I'm thinking Chickadee is somebody that Chickadee isn't. That's a possibility. Open that up. It's been a while since I've done the cards, so I'm just going to smudge them real quick, guys. When you're in the flight stage, yeah. Did you end up doing, because there's so many different things, like there's so many things inside the group, right? And when you're done the course, you never lose access to the group. It's something that I told Tammy throughout the entire program, was that at the end of the group, she stays in it long term. And then I'm going to have a monthly check-in so that anyone that's a student that's completed the training can at any point in time hop into that check-in session. The only time that would change is if nobody's showing up, and it's consistently like that. Like I'm showing up and nobody's showing up for these sessions. Well, then I'm not going to keep putting my energy in spaces where it's not received, right? And that's a boundary thing. The same thing with the group. I will leave everybody who ever takes the course, the Bridge to Light course, will stay in that group indefinitely. However, if nobody's going into the group to access the information, and it's been like a year of that where nobody's been entering it, then at that point I might make the decision to close down the group, because obviously nobody would be using it. But I would do that at that point in time. There'd be lots of notice. At this point in time, the expectation is that that group's just going to be open and like indefinitely for you to access the material as long as you need to. There's lots of meditations in there. There's a guide to determine what your normal, like what your go-to is with fight, flight, freeze, disassociate. We talk about those things. We talk about the ego and how it interferes with your healing process. We talk about victim mindset. We talked about so many different things, and empowerment, and yeah. I'm so proud of Tammy for doing it, because it's about doing it. It's not about just, you have to show up, and you have to show up in multiple ways, right? You have to do the practical skills. All right. So can I get a message, Spirit, for Tammy? Can I get a good message for Tammy? Tammy, the 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. I'm like, it's not the 10. I knew there was a mistake in what I said. The Queen of Pentacles. Mm-hmm. The Queen of Pentacles. This is a healer. This is someone who is a self-healed. It's a parent. It is the divine. It's a beautiful energy. This is the green is the healed energy, right? That's the green that's in the picture. The brown color is about stabilization, and the pentacles represent your physical security. So this can be about, having financially you're secure, you've got all your needs taken care of, you are healed, you are healthy, you're confident, you're secure, right? This is just beautiful energy for you to be seeing. Hi, Dawson Shoop. How are you? I know your sister. So the bottom of the card of the deck is the Two of Swords in the Shadow Seer position. So in the shadow position, the Two of Swords is about making decisions, but feeling like you're blinded or you don't really know which way to go. And there may be like feeling like some kind of, trickery around. It could be mental trickery kind of energy. So this is that back and forth energy of trying to make that decision. It's a mental war. In this space here, it could be even more of a war, but you're the one that's in control of that. You're the one that can determine whether or not you're going to engage those thoughts or not. Sometimes we need to sit and ask ourselves, like, where is it coming from? Or what is the reason why I'm entertaining these thoughts? Right? And do they help me or are they hindering me? And when you make that decision and just let them go, then this is the space that you get to be in. Right? And I see you moving through this space, but if we don't make the decisions for us, somebody else makes the decision, and that's us just giving up our power. And we don't want to do that. We want to be the one to make sure that we are in fact determining what we want to do. Okay, we're the ones that are. It's all because we're making those decisions. It's not that we've made the decision to give our decision making to someone else. That we're making the choices for us, and we're taking our power back. Right. Alrighty, I think Rejoice was next, or Char. Rejoice. All right, what does Rejoice need to hear today, Spirit? Ooh. Okay, we got two. We got a couple that fell. So there's the need for deep rest, Rejoice. There's definitely this need for rest, and I see that the King of Wands, which this is it's a spiritual king. He's a leader. Wands are about taking action, right? So this guy, he would have followed his passions and been very successful. It's that type of energy. When it's in the shadow position, it could be that, there could be somebody that has very, very egoic energy coming in, very fiery egoic energy. It could be that there could be some manipulation energy around. It could be that you're not taking action on the particular things that would get you to that space, that height of, to your dreams, to your purpose, to your passion, to the heights of your career and what you're trying to accomplish. This can be being too ambitious. And that's where it's coming from. There's where I needed it. That's the word I was looking for. So this is the energy of going, and, and hustling and grinding, but you're not in the energy that you need to be in to do it. And your body's yelling at you to rest. It's like, I need to rest. And it's interesting because, there was a statement going around when I was in university, and it probably still exists today, that A and B students work for C students, right? Because C students, although they, maybe there's many reasons behind it, but C students tended to have some fun along the way. And, you need to be able to have fun, and you need to be able to recuperate. And it's amazing how when you take a rest period, or, when you do something that's not, like if you're constantly, I got to make money. I got to get this. I got to get that. I need more. I need this. I need that. And, I got to, and you're just focused on that. Like that is going to stagnate the flow, right? So this is just you needing rest. It can't be go, after all of these ambitions. There's a part of you that's just begging for rest. And there might be something that you need to let go of that you're refusing to let go of, right? Like, and so, yeah, maybe look at what is it that's, could be explosive emotions as well, right? Like having impatience. Where is it? Why isn't it here yet? So it's just going to burn you right out. And we were just talking about that. You don't want to go into a full burnout, because then you've got to recover from that. And that's not That's not fun at all. All right. Char. Does Char need to, woo. They came out, both of them together. So we got the Eight of Wands in the shadow, and we got the Queen of Pentacles. And we already talked about the Queen of Pentacles, that she is she's assured, she's taken care of, she's confident, she's a strong leader, she's healed and healthy and confident, and like all of those great, like the great energies. The Eight of Wands is usually the card that something's coming in and it's coming in fast. But when it's in the shadow, it means that there's a little bit of a delay. So this could be like, and it's not a delay. Like we think of it as a delay sometimes, that the delay is happening because we're doing something wrong and we need to change something. But sometimes it's not that you're doing anything. It's just that the pieces outside need to be put into place so that they can rise to where your energy is at, or where you are in your frequency or your vibration. Kind of like what I was saying for myself, because I changed who I was working with, or the type of people that I was communicating, or the audience that I'm speaking to, right? I'm not speaking to people that want to come and hang out with me for free and that want me to give and give and give and give and give and give and give, and think that I should keep giving even when I am giving to give more, and that there's never an end of how much I should have to give for free or for peanuts or anything like that. I'm not broadcasting to that audience anymore. I'm broadcasting to the audience that is ready to do the work, that is ready to put the money down so that they can do that, right? That's willing to invest in themselves. That's what the money is. It's you investing in you, because when you get it for free, you don't respect it, right? If I pay $1,000 for something, I'm going to get my money's worth out of that. I'm going to attend the classes. I'm going to make sure that I do the coursework. I'm going to do all of that. If somebody gives me a course for $1,000, there's a part of me that's like, well, I can get to that later. Or, it's like, but I don't have any skin in the game. I'm not losing anything if I don't fully take advantage of the gift that I've been given. And I see that collect. It's not just me. I know other people that do the same thing, have given, and they find that at the end of the day, people just don't do the stuff when they're given it. It's just something that's free. So they don't value it the same as if they paid for it. Right. So we have to, so that can be happening, is that there's a changing of the stuff that's aligning around you, and it's nothing to do with you. You don't need to change anything. You just have to be open to receive it. You just have to continue moving in your aligned way, honoring your energy, honoring your direction, but honoring that flow, right? It's not all about structure. It's not all about go, 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 do. You have to sit in the just being space and just allow yourself to be in that space of receptivity, and just with so much love for yourself, Shar. So much love for yourself. All right. Who else wants a card? And if nobody else wants a card, everybody else has got cards. If everybody's got their cards and they're all good, then I love you. And you're very welcome. You're very welcome. If everybody's got their cards, then we'll go. And I'm going to set up a day. I'm going to talk to my mom with her schedule, and depending on her schedule, that's when I'll schedule it for. Not that my mom cares if I do this while she's home, but it just makes it easier for me. I get less distracted. But yeah, if everybody's good, then we're good. You got all that exercise. Definitely go to the webpage though and check out those things. And if you are able to help me so I can continue to do the things that I'm doing, I'd really appreciate it. If nothing changes by the end of the month, I don't know. I might have to get a real job. And I don't mean that in the sense that this isn't real. What I'm doing here is so much more valuable and so much more powerful and so much more important than anything that I could go and do as a 9-to-5 for me, right? But again, unfortunately, things need to, I need food. I need a roof over my head, and it's not free to live. So until it's free to live, the people that are doing the work like me still need to be paid. We still need to receive income or resources in some way or another. When it becomes a free world where nobody has to pay, then I'll do everything for free again. I'll go back to doing everything for free. Ooh, Saskatchewan. Nice. I've driven through Saskatchewan numerous times. It's one province I have not lived in. I've not lived in Manitoba either, but I lived in British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario, and my son lives in Nova Scotia. So I've never lived in the East, like further than Ontario East. I haven't lived there, but 3 provinces isn't bad. Isn't bad. All right, guys, I love you. I'm going to go and do some things. I got some content that I can be publishing, and some flow that I can be doing. Yeah, I got lots of fun things that I can be doing to keep my energy in a really good space. And I will see you guys, like I said, on that surprise live at some point where we're just going to be doing cards and stuff like that. But if you missed that particular day, then I'll see you back here at the regular time on Tuesday. Anywhere between 10:45 and 11 o'clock is when I start. It just depends on what's going on around me. But I love you guys, and I wish you well. And I'm keeping you all in my prayers for everything that you guys need as well, because I know, I'm not the only one that's in need. We'll just put it that way. Love you. Mwah. Have a beautiful day. Look at that. Stop right at 10K. Bye, guys.